Have you ever watched a horror movie and found yourself more haunted by how someone died than the monster itself? Some deaths are so unforgettable, so shockingly creative. They don't just terrify audiences, they change cinema. In today's video, we're diving headfirst into 10 iconic horror movie deaths that made history, from showers soaked in blood to heads that explode without warning. If you think you've seen it all, wait until you relive these game-changing moments. These aren't just death scenes, they're milestones, scenes that redefined the genre, turned actors into legends, and left audiences frozen in fear or awe. Let's get into it, but be warned, once you see them, you can't unsee them. Ready?
Do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't.
Drew Barrymore in Scream, 1996. When Scream hit theaters, everyone thought Drew Barrymore was the star. I mean, she's on the poster, front and center. So when her character, Casey, is brutally murdered in the opening 12 minutes, audiences lost their minds. It starts as a creepy phone call. Do you like scary movies? And then the game begins. A wrong answer, a boyfriend gutted, a chase through the house. And finally, Casey is cornered, stabbed, and hung from a tree, all before the opening credits roll. It was shocking, clever, and completely flipped the slasher genre on its head. Director Wes Craven knew exactly what he was doing, killing off the biggest star first. It made one thing clear: in Scream, no one was safe, and that single twist turned the film into a 90s horror classic, breathing new life into a tired genre. Here comes the first death that changed horror forever. Janet Leigh in Psycho, 1960. It's the scene that made people afraid to take showers. Marion Crane checks into the Bates Motel for what seems like a quiet night. But what follows is 45 seconds of pure terror. In a stark, black and white bathroom, she's suddenly attacked behind the shower curtain, stabbed again and again as screeching violins slice through the soundtrack. The water turns red, her hand slides down the tile, and just like that, the leading lady is gone. What makes this death so iconic isn't just the violence. It's how shocking it was at the time. Audiences in 1960 had never seen anything like it. Killing off the main character halfway through? Unthinkable. Hitchcock didn't just break the rules, he rewrote them, and the legacy. That single scene turned Psycho into a cultural landmark, and Janet Leigh's death became the most analyzed kill in film school history. It wasn't just horror, it was art. Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th, 1980. You know it's serious when even Kevin Bacon doesn't survive the night. In the original Friday the 13th, Bacon plays a camp counselor looking to relax after some extracurricular activities. He lights a smoke, lies back in bed, and then, suddenly, a hand grabs his head from under the mattress. A spear pierces up through his throat in one of the most gruesome practical effects of its time. The blood gurgles. The eyes roll back. And just like that, another teen bites the dust. This kill became a blueprint for the slasher formula. Sex, then death. Simple, brutal, and unforgettable. And it helped set the tone for dozens of imitators in the decade that followed. Johnny Depp in A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Before he was Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp made his film debut by getting devoured by a bed. Glenn, the sweet boyfriend who just wants to stay awake, dozes off and pays the price. Freddy Krueger's claws shoot out, pull him in, and what follows is pure nightmare fuel. A geyser of blood erupts from the mattress, splashing across the ceiling in a surreal, slow-motion horror ballet. It's grotesque, it's dreamlike, and it's unforgettable. This scene proved that Freddy wasn't just another slasher. He was something more imaginative, more terrifying. And for Depp, not a bad way to launch a career. The Chestburster, Alien, 1979. It starts quietly. A man sits at the dinner table, laughing with the crew. Everything seems fine, until he starts choking. At first, they think it's food. Then, panic, convulsions, screams, and then his ribcage splits open, and a slimy, shrieking creature erupts from his chest. The chest burster scene is one of the most horrifying and authentic death scenes ever filmed. And here's the secret. Most of the actors didn't know exactly what was going to happen. Their screams? Totally real. The alien wriggles free, covered in blood, and scurries off, leaving the crew and the audience in absolute shock. This wasn't just gore. It was biological horror. It made the human body itself feel unsafe. And it turned Alien from a sci-fi thriller into a full-blown nightmare. The head explosion, Scanners, 1981. You think you're watching a quiet sci-fi scene, a government agent interviewing a man with psychic powers. Everyone's calm, tense, but calm. And then suddenly, boom! The man's head explodes like a watermelon under pressure. No warning, no build-up, just instant, gory chaos. Director David Cronenberg didn't use CGI. This was pure practical magic. They filled a fake head with latex, gelatin, and real meat, then blasted it with a shotgun from beneath the table. The result is one of the most visceral deaths in movie history. And the impact? It told audiences one thing in a Cronenberg film. You are never ready. Anything and everything can go horrifically wrong. The Ice Pick Kill, Basic Instinct, 1992. Okay, this one's not a traditional horror film, but the murder? Iconic. It's steamy, seductive. A man lies in bed with a beautiful blonde, Sharon Stone, at the peak of her icy allure. And just as things heat up, she grabs an ice pick and stabs him again and again and again. The scene cuts between passion and violence in a dizzying blur. The white sheets turn red, and Stone's calm expression, chilling. This moment didn't just shock viewers. It redefined the femme fatale for the modern era. Sharon Stone became a symbol of danger, mystery, and sex appeal, all in one scene. It was psychological horror hidden inside an erotic thriller, and no one saw it coming. Father Karras, The Exorcist, 1973. After battling pure evil for 2 hours, Father Karras makes the ultimate sacrifice. The demon has taken full control of young Regan. The exorcism seems to be failing, until Karras shouts, "Take me!" And it does. In a heartbeat, the demon possesses him. But Karras isn't done fighting. With the last of his strength, he hurls himself out the bedroom window, crashing down a long flight of stone steps. His body is broken, but the evil is gone. It's not just a death, it's redemption. It's humanity taking a stand against darkness. What makes this moment so powerful is its emotional weight. Amid the gore and terror, here's a man choosing to die so that a little girl can live. It's one of the most unforgettable and moving deaths in horror. And it elevated The Exorcist from a scary movie into a spiritual war. So, what did we just witness? A shower scene that redefined suspense, a geyser of blood that launched a Hollywood heartthrob, a chest that birthed an alien, a phone call that changed slashers forever. These weren't just death scenes. They were turning points for horror, for cinema, for culture. Each one shocked us in its own way, through brutal realism, surreal visuals, or raw emotion. And while the characters may be gone, the impact of their death still lingers in our nightmares, our rewatches, and our pop culture DNA. Personally, that chestburster in Alien still makes me flinch every time. And Drew Barrymore's fate in Scream, that was the moment I knew horror could play with us, not just scare us. But what about you? Which death stuck with you the most? Which one did we miss? Maybe Ghostface's garage door kill? Or that lawnmower scene in Sinister? Drop it in the comments. We're always hungry for more horror history.